Debates flare up again about the proposed construction of a mosque near Ground Zero, New York, 9 years after the deadliest terrorist attacks. Now, there are 7 million Muslims in the U.S., which is so proud of being the melting pot, although late Professor Samuel Huntington from Harvard asked the big question about whether America is still American. He is the author of Clashes of Civilizations. President Obama is not a fan or student of Professor Huntington, so he calls for ethnic and religious reconciliation and has ordered the retreat of U.S. troops from Iraq. Can he prevail? Today we are joined here in the Beijing studio by Ambassador Murat Selim Asali from Turkey and Dr. Robert Lawrence Cohen, Chairman of the Cohen Foundation. In a few minutes we shall be talking to Mr. Richard Gage, CEO of a very powerful NGO which is called Architects and Engineers for 911 Truth in a telephone interview. Let's cross over to Mr. Richard Gage, CEO of Architects and Engineers for 911 Truth. Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
Fine. Very nice to have you on our program. What do you think of the idea of constructing a mosque in the shadow of Ground Zero in downtown New York City?
Well, I think it's clearly an attempt to divert attention away from the root causes of the 9/11 event itself, which many Americans agree was not as we were told. The Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth number now over 1,200 who are calling for a new investigation into the destruction of the 3 World Trade Center high-rises, and an investigation like that would get right at the cause of 9/11, which has nothing to do with Muslims.
That's ridiculous.
Dr. Cohen, you say it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
It's patently absurd. I don't think we should waste time with it. It's a complete diversion. Every country has people who have devised all sorts of conspiracy theories, and we could waste our time dealing with it, but I don't think we should. We have real issues in the world that we're dealing with today, and this is not one of them.
Well, Mr. Gage, what's your rebuttal? What's the rebuttal?
We have evidence that these towers were brought down by explosive controlled demolition. This is not a theory. It's science-based evidence. There is explosives found in all the World Trade Center dust, which turns out to be nanothermite composite explosives. There's several tons of molten metal found under the debris piles of all 3 World Trade Center high-rises, including Building 7, a 47-story skyscraper that collapses smoothly, symmetrically at free fall speed straight down into its footprint in the afternoon of 9/11 in the exact manner of a classic controlled demolition. 1,200 architects and engineers, everyone who looks at this evidence ends up agreeing with us once they have the courage to look at it. It's a problem in America, though. We do not have enough courage to look back and look at the facts.
Richard, recently researchers at Duke University and the University of North Carolina have concluded that what America needs to help safeguard against Islamic terrorism is more mosques. Do you think your country has enough mosques to bring about what we call the religious and ethnic reconciliation in the aftermath of the 9/11 terrorist attacks?
Yes, well, the number of mosques is a question that architects and engineers are not qualified to answer. What we are qualified to answer is the question of what caused 9/11. Why have we invaded 2 countries in the Middle East if it wasn't because 19 fundamentalist hijackers conspired to run these planes into these buildings? There's another cause here we need to be looking at. That is the real story here.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us. I really appreciate your analysis about the conspiracy theory.